All right, so let's just go ahead and jump right into it. So again, my name's Chris Dunn, and I'm really grateful for you guys being here. I know you could be doing anything, and you chose to come learn about crypto. So that means a lot to me, and I'm going to give you as much value as I can over the next hour or hour and a half. So for anybody, if we haven't met yet, I'll just introduce myself. First and foremost, like, I'm not an investment advisor, so please, like, this isn't recommendations to buy or sell anything. And I always like to say, don't trade with money you can't afford to lose. There's a lot of crazy stories in the news right now of people like mortgaging their house to buy Bitcoin. And please don't do stuff like that. They call it risk capital for a reason. And just to quickly introduce myself, I want to give you a little bit of background of my history of trading and where I am today and kind of how I got here, so you have some context whenever we dive into the live markets. Again, my name's Chris Dunn. Huffington Post called me one of the top crypto influencers to follow. I was on CNBC's first crypto trader show, and my passion project is YouTube videos, and most of the YouTube videos I do are around cryptocurrencies, and I think I'm pushing almost 200,000 subscribers on YouTube. So that's where I am today. And about 5 years ago, I actually went all in on Bitcoin. And just to give you a little bit of history, I actually started trading stocks and futures back in high school in 2002. I had some mentors that were some of the old school like pit trading pros, and they were some of the first guys to have high-speed internet in the late 90s, early 2000s. And so I started trading E-minis around 2002, and when I went full-time trading, I actually traded from about 50 countries around the world over a 7-year time span. And things were really fun and great until the markets changed after the financial crisis in 2008. And what actually happened, what I noticed was after 2008, it was becoming exponentially more difficult every year to make consistent profits in the traditional markets. And I literally have invested thousands of hours of my life into building strategies, day trading. It actually got so bad where I was sitting in front of my computer for like 16 hours a day for weeks on end, would hardly leave the house, became overweight, and actually developed high blood pressure in my late 20s because of all the stress from day trading. And what was happening was high-frequency algorithms were making it very difficult for day traders to profit consistently. At least that was my experience in the trading group that I was running. It kind of felt like we went from market conditions where, it was reasonable for people to be consistently profitable to the point where it was like, well over 90% of people just couldn't make it work. And so I was really, really frustrated with that, and I felt like, Wall Street and big hedge funds had just a really big edge over individual traders and kind of the small guys. So I went on a search to find a market or a place where like the average Joe could have a real shot at making money consistently. And so what happened in 2011, I had a friend that was working at a hedge fund, and he shot me an email and was like, "Hey, Chris, check out this thing called Bitcoin." And I thought it was a scam or some kind of like pump and dump scheme, or, I thought it was just going to be a passing fad. And so I ignored it. And that was probably the biggest mistake of my life, because in early 2013, after, kind of pushing it away for 2 years, I said, you know what, there's actually something here. This is going to change the world. And so I started investing in it and started trading in it. And my first blog post, just to give you a little context, like, I was not always, just a advocate for Bitcoin. My first blog post that I put out publicly about Bitcoin in November 2011 was actually a warning that I thought we were in a bubble, which we were. Price had just in a few weeks went from about $100 up to, it actually made a high of over $1,000, and then throughout the entire year of 2014, it crashed. It went back below $200. But what happened was, I started actively trading it, and I was the first guy that I know of that was actually educating people on the fact that you could short Bitcoin. Nobody knew that back then. And I started making more money on a single trade than I could hope to make in a full year trying to day trade the stock market. You know, as I'm sure a lot of you guys and ladies know, the volatility since 2008, year over year in the stock market has been shrinking year over year over year. So it just was becoming increasingly more difficult for day traders over the years, where it just felt like the easy low-hanging fruit was in cryptocurrencies. And I mean that. I had several trades where I would make more money on a single trade than I could hope to make all year trying to like fight for peanuts, as I call it, trying to day trade. So I started to teach people how to profitably trade crypto, started showing what I was doing, and wrote a book on Bitcoin, and saw my students around the world started making life-changing amounts of money as well. And what happened in 2015, so October 2015, I actually was speaking at an event where there was over 500 stock and futures day traders mostly, and I was trying to convince them that Bitcoin was going to be the next big thing and that it was the best market to actively trade. The price that day was $237, and a lot of people were actually ridiculing me. They were like, you know, kind of laughing and saying, hey, this is like just some kind of pump and dump, or this is going to go away. Well, needless to say, you know, price has gone up exponentially since then, and the volatility has been at record highs, which is great for traders, as a lot of you probably know. And then in December 2016, when price was at 800, shortly, just a few weeks before it began its run from 1,000 to 19,000, I said, look, guys, you know, anybody who trashed Bitcoin is a failure. Now's the time to reevaluate your opinion so you don't end up on the wrong side of history. And as we've seen over the past year, I mean, we've just seen mass user adoption around the world of Bitcoin, and everybody from the startup scene in Silicon Valley to Wall Street, you know, the biggest of the biggest hedge funds are now investing and trading this. You know, Goldman Sachs is starting a crypto trading desk. Even Jamie Dimon, who has publicly ridiculed Bitcoin just a couple of days ago, said that he regrets doing that. So this is now, you know, in my opinion, the best place to be. And just to give you an example, so this is Rocky, my partner. His handle on Twitter is @CryptoHustle. And he was a guy that started learning from me in 2014 and very quickly began living 100% off of his Bitcoin income since then, and became a crypto millionaire and now runs our trading room. So it's just really cool to see how somebody with no prior trading experience made literally a life-changing amount of money, and now he's giving back by running our trading room. And, you know, we've been getting success stories, it feels like every day. I mean, this is a global market, right? So we have traders from all around the world in well over 100 countries. And, you know, we get messages like this guy just a couple weeks ago said, you know, this week's been my biggest trade ever, pulling in just under $1 million in a week on a single trade. And this guy said, you know, within 3 months, I've actually achieved my 6-figure goal, and he's on his way to 7-figure mark. And there's a few reasons where we have kind of this unique opportunity in crypto right now that I think will last for the next few years. It's not going to last forever, but I do believe that now is the best time to be in this space just because of the amount of capital and the volatility that we're seeing flowing into this. So it's been really, really fun. And what I want to do, so we're going to take about an hour where I'm going to do some training to show you my most profitable strategies for trading and investing. I know, as you guys said, I mean, some people are swing traders, some people are day traders. A lot of you are trading options and futures and equities. So I'm going to show you what's been working for me. And then I'm also going to open up a few spots in our crypto trading bootcamp. So for those of you that are interested in that, great. If not, that's cool too. And then we're going to do some live market analysis and some Q&A and do some trade review. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. And what I'm going to do, we're going to start off by showing you the right way to to actually get started trading and investing. And I'm also going to take you through my 3 best strategies. And this is going to help everybody, no matter what your time frame is or your background is, and also show you how to profit by shorting. And then we'll jump into the live market. So for anybody that's brand new, I know about 2/3 of you said that you had never bought Bitcoin before. Bitcoin, just to kind of do a basics overview of what this is, it's the world's first successful cryptocurrency. And I say successful cryptocurrency because cryptocurrencies have actually been around since the 80s, but they've always had technical problems that have kept them from catching on and having worldwide mass adoption. So in 2009, when Bitcoin was created, it actually didn't catch legs for a few years until people realized, like, hey, this is actually something that's going to change the world. And it's a decentralized digital currency, which basically means no government controls it. It's a peer-to-peer currency, and it's like having digital cash or digital gold. Like, you can send money around the world almost instantly in a few minutes for basically free. I mean, anywhere from a few pennies to a few dollars. There was a transaction a few years ago of $150 million that was sent by somebody somewhere around the world, and it cost less than $1 to do that, right? Try to do that at your bank, and you're going to have to fill out forms. You're going to go through the SWIFT system where it's going to take several days to clear. So this is literally changing the world and making money now borderless, right? Governments no longer are controlling the flow of capital, which is scary in some senses for some governments, and for entrepreneurs and investors, this is, in my opinion, the best financial innovation that we've seen in the past 100 years or so. So let's talk about how to get started, okay? So for those of you that have never bought Bitcoin before, or if you're brand new to this, here's the best way to do this stuff, okay? So how do you get Bitcoin or altcoins? And altcoins, by the way, if you don't know what that means, this stands for alternative cryptocurrencies. And this is basically all other cryptocurrencies aside from Bitcoin. And there are over 1,000 of them now, and I'll show you that list here in a second. But the first way that you can acquire cryptocurrency is by buying it with fiat currency, right? Like dollars, euro, yen. And you can do that through an online exchange or from an individual. So for those of you that have, like Interactive Broker accounts or TradeStation accounts or NinjaTrader accounts, you know that to participate in the regular financial markets, you need a broker. Well, with cryptocurrencies, you actually deal directly with the exchanges. You don't need a middleman. And so that's one way. You can just buy them with your money, right, with your dollars. The second option is through mining. So mining is basically setting up computers that run complex algorithms to try to discover new cryptocurrency that's being created every 10 minutes. So the thing with Bitcoin is the supply is predetermined. We know that there's only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoins in existence, where with dollars, we don't know, right? After the financial crisis, the U.S. created like $4 trillion out of thin air. That's never going to happen with Bitcoin, and that's why it's deflationary in nature. But the process in which new Bitcoins are created is through mining. And a lot of the mining actually is occurring in countries where there's really cheap electricity, like China and Venezuela and places like that. But if you are a computer geek and you really love this stuff, that's an option as well. You can also earn them. So a lot of people around the world are now taking their salaries and their income and getting paid in Bitcoin or another cryptocurrency. And then number 4, which is what we're really going to talk about today, is invest or trade, right? So you can grow your wealth through actively buying and selling Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. And I'm going to show you the strategies that I've been using for how to do that. So here's the kind of the 5 steps to get started. So step number 1, you sign up with a cryptocurrency exchange, and I'm going to show you in a second the best exchanges and how to do that. It only takes a few minutes. Then you buy a little bit of Bitcoin. I think everybody around the world should own at least a little bit of Bitcoin so you can understand how this stuff works. You want to pick a trading style, so you can say, I want to be a buy and hold investor, I want to be a swing trader, I want to day trade. You get prepared and wait for the best trades, and then when an opportunity comes along, you take it and you manage it, right? So it's very, very similar to trading any other financial markets, right? Like we have limit orders, we have stop market orders. The execution is very similar. The biggest difference, though, is the volatility and the ability to trade directly through an exchange. And so these are my favorite cryptocurrency exchanges. And you might want to write these down. I'm going to kind of show you their websites here in a second. But if you're somebody who just wants to get started and you're like, yes, I just want to buy a little bit of Bitcoin. Excuse me, let me take a sip of water here. The best place to do that, if you're in the U.S. or one of the major financial countries, is through Coinbase. Now, Coinbase also has their more professional level exchange, which is called GDAX, and I'll show you that as well. The fees are very low on GDAX compared to Coinbase, and basically what you can do is you can link these directly to your checking account. So you can go on the website, you press buy Bitcoin at market order, and it takes money from your checking account and purchases Bitcoin. And vice versa. If you go online and you say, I want to sell one Bitcoin at $15,000, then 15,000 US dollars will show up in your bank account. It's that simple. Gemini is also another good option for people in the state of New York. There's a little bit of different regulations in New York, so Gemini is a great place for that. And then for altcoins, so if you want to buy Ripple or Ethereum or Dash or any of the other 1,000+ cryptocurrencies, the best place to do that is either on Bittrex, Poloniex, or a newer exchange is called Binance. And I don't personally have a lot of experience on Binance, but I've used Bittrex and Poloniex over the past couple of years. And so let me actually, before we go any further, I'll just show you these websites and how to get started. It's very, very simple. Thanks, guys. I don't usually use GoToWebinar every day, so still trying to navigate this. So what you'll do if you want to just sign up and just get started and buy your first Bitcoin, you just go onto Coinbase, hit sign up, and you fill out this form. You go through the account verification process, and you can buy and sell cryptocurrency here. And you'll notice on this drop down where it says GDAX, this is their professional level exchange. So you can see the bid and asks, you can see the trade history, time and sales over here. You can see charts. And on GDAX, you can actually trade Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, and Litecoin. Okay, so once you sign up with Coinbase, it's very, very easy to go ahead and also sign up with GDAX. And this is actually where I place most of my orders, again, just because the fees are way lower and the fills are better. So if you're somebody who wants to be an active trader, I would highly recommend using GDAX just over Coinbase. But if you just want to get started, this is a great place to do that. And then one thing I'll show you is coinmarketcap.com. PK asks, does GDAX allow limit orders? Yes, you can see here you can place limit orders for both the buy and the sell side, and you can also place stop orders. So you can have, stop protection and stuff like that. So you'll notice, I mean, this is very similar to any other stock or options trading platform in that you have kind of the three main things, right? You have your chart, you have your bid and ask column, you can see market depth, and you can also see the time and sales over here. GDAX and Coinbase actually operate in a lot of countries now. I'm sure they have a list on here somewhere, But yeah, they work with dozens of countries now, as far as I know. So yeah, so GDAX again is a great place to trade, and you'll notice that they support some of the biggest cryptocurrency by market cap. Okay, so you can see here on coinmarketcap.com. Can you guys see this website? Just want to make sure that's showing up. Okay, great. Thanks, guys. So this is basically a list of all the cryptocurrencies, and you'll notice there's 1,414 cryptocurrencies right now, Bitcoin being the biggest one at about $250 billion or $233 billion market cap. The price today is about $14,000. And a lot of people actually make the misconception that you have to buy one Bitcoin. You can actually trade a fraction of a Bitcoin. You can trade $5 or $10 worth of Bitcoin if you want. And you'll notice Ethereum is number 2. And I'll show you some of my biggest trades on these markets. But I just want to kind of set the stage for the landscape of cryptocurrencies. If we come up here, you'll notice that the total market cap, the value of all cryptocurrencies, is about $700 billion. And this is really impressive when you think about where cryptocurrencies were just a couple of years ago. So you'll see, you know, going back to 2013 where I got into this, you know, the total market cap was, of all cryptocurrencies, was barely $1 billion. You know, it was like 1 billion. And then the start of last year is where things really started to take off. And you can see just a couple of days ago, we hit an all-time high of 800 billion. So pretty impressive. And what's really cool about this also is these aren't just like small penny stocks that are trading small volume. You can see the 24-hour trading volume of Bitcoin is $12 billion, $5 billion for Ethereum, $4 billion for Ripple. So these are real markets, guys. This isn't like penny stocks or some little pump and dump scheme. Like these are global markets with real liquidity. So it's pretty fun. Now, I'll also show you some of these websites. So for altcoins, Poloniex is a great one. You'll notice the list of coins that they offer right here. And then Bittrex is another one. They have several dozen markets. Now, one thing I'll say about these markets, Canna said Bittrex stopped accepting new people. We're going through a really interesting time in cryptocurrencies right now. These exchanges are getting between 50,000 to 100,000 new signups a day. So they are overloaded. And so I've heard just in the past week or two alone, I've heard some people say they were able to sign up and get verified in an hour. And I've heard other people say they haven't been verified in a week. So just my suggestion is sign up and get the ball rolling sooner than later. That way you're prepared for when a good trade comes along, okay? So with that said, let's go ahead and jump back to the PowerPoint, and I want to show you the best way to actually store your cryptocurrency. So this is the best way to actually protect your crypto. I just want to make sure, can you guys see the PowerPoint again? I know we were having some issues a minute ago. Okay, great. And Don asked, how safe is it to leave coins on Coinbase? They say they are insured. Well, this is what I say. You don't want to treat exchanges like FDIC insured bank accounts, right? Like if you have, like any account can get hacked, right? Like your checking account can get hacked, your TradeStation or your IB account can get hacked, but those do have a better level of protection. What you don't want to do is you don't want to leave all your crypto on the exchanges all the time. You'll hear stories of exchanges getting hacked or having issues, and so what the best option is to get what we call a hardware wallet. Okay, so a hardware wallet is basically a little USB device that allows you to store your cryptocurrency with you physically, where you can put it in a bank safety deposit box or in a vault somewhere. And my favorite hardware wallets are the Ledger Nano S. Okay, so this is one that holds multiple cryptocurrencies, and the other is called a Trezor. So if you go online, you'll see where you can purchase those. One thing I'll say is you don't want to purchase these from a second-hand person. You only want to buy these directly from the companies. So I think I might need to move that PowerPoint. There we go. Can you guys see ledgerwallet.com? Okay, great. So yeah, you'll notice here, this is what this little device looks like. It's a little USB thing that just plugs into your computer with a little cord. And yeah, sometimes these go on back order. Again, we have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people a week pouring into cryptocurrencies right now. So this is why, like, and I've been saying this for several years, I'm like, you want to try to get set up sooner than later. And there are other options. Like if you go on Amazon, you can find availability. Like I just bought one of these a couple of weeks ago, and it arrived Amazon Prime in like 2 days. And then the other one is called the Trezor. Okay. Alan says, I have the Jax wallet, which is an offline wallet. Yep, I also have Jax. There's iPhone apps that you can use. There's several different types of wallets that you can use to keep your coins secure. But the biggest thing that I just like to tell people is, like, don't leave all of your cryptocurrency on the exchanges all the time. Why not use just a regular USB from Costco? Well, this actually has special software on it, which will actually act as like an interface for a wallet where you can send and receive cryptocurrencies. Okay, so now that we've talked a little bit about where to buy and sell Bitcoin and the best exchanges, I want to show you like my 3 capital buckets for cryptocurrencies, basically the 3 areas that I've allocated my capital and where you could possibly do this too if you want to invest or trade these markets. So how's the audio, guys? Is the audio okay? I've seen a couple people say they couldn't hear or the audio was cutting out. Is that good? Okay, great. Just want to make sure because I'm not too familiar with GoToWebinar. Awesome. Thank you so much. All right, so my first capital bucket is what I call my cold storage investments. These are the coins that when I buy them, I put them on a hardware wallet and I basically dig a hole and bury them, and I'm never going to touch them, okay? This is where, you know, cryptocurrencies really serve 2 purposes. They're a medium of exchange, right? They're money where you can buy and sell products and services around the world, and people are now buying houses with Bitcoin. They're buying cars with Bitcoin. You can buy stuff all over the world with Bitcoin now. But it's also a store of value. People are treating it like gold, right? So it's digital gold. So this is where, you know, like I've allocated, say, 5 or 10% of my investment capital where I'm going to put it in a hardware wallet and I'm going to store it and I'm never going to touch it. And because Bitcoin is deflationary in nature, meaning the supply is finite, it's fixed and predetermined, that's why the price has been going up over time. And some people ask, well, Chris, is Bitcoin in a bubble? And I would say right now, absolutely. But Bitcoin's been through half a dozen bubbles in its short 8 or 9 year history. So just because something's in a bubble doesn't mean it's going to die. It's going to continue to go up over time, just not in a straight line. So the second capital bucket that I use is for position trades. This is where I hold for anywhere from 1 to 3 years, and I take profit on gains of over 100%. Now, if you come from the traditional financial markets, some of these numbers and some of these trades I'm going to show you might sound pretty crazy. And it's because the volatility and the amount of capital flowing into these markets is so high right now. But that's why I say, like, this is the most profitable market that I've ever traded. So I have position trading capital, and then my third bucket is for short-term trades. So like swing trading, or if I ever take a day trade or a faster trade. But I look at it and I say, okay, what is my total amount of risk capital I'm willing to put into cryptocurrencies? So if you're looking at this and you're trying to get involved, you might say, okay, I have 10,000 or 100,000 or $1 million. Doesn't matter how much you have. Look at it and say, okay, how much do I want to allocate to long-term cold storage? How much do I want to have for position trades? And how much do I want to have for short-term trades, right? I think that's just a really good way to approach it. So with that said, let's dive into the meat and potatoes of how to actually make money with this stuff, all right? Are you guys ready? Everybody understand so far what Bitcoin is, why it's been growing so fast, how to buy it and sell it? If you're ready, if that makes sense and you're ready to move on, just type a Y or a yes in the chat room. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, guys. And we're going to do Q&A, and I know Jeanette's not able to log in, so I'm going to stick around for as long as I can to answer as many questions. I just want to get through all this first, and then if you have any questions or if I went too fast over something, just let me know and we'll go back. All right. So awesome. So 3 ways to profit trading cryptos. The first one is what I call pre-hype accumulating, okay? And this is very simple. This is buying coins at low prices and then exiting on public hype. So it seems like nowadays we have a new cryptocurrency come out every 45 minutes. And so how do you sift through all of that? Well, at the Skill Incubator and with our crypto program, we have people that are very technically savvy and they do due diligence on a lot of these coins. And we're able to find coins very early before, CNBC talks about them or before the general public catches on. And that's a great way to invest low and then sell high when public hype kicks in, right? And I'll show you some examples of that. The second option is swing trading, where you identify trades to hold for a couple of days to a couple of weeks on average. And then the third is scalp trading or day trading, where you quickly enter and exit trades when there's high volatility. Now, my 2 most profitable are pre-hype accumulation and swing trading. And just to give you an idea of some of my best longer-term trades and investments to date so far, I actually bought Bitcoin at $166 in 2015, and it recently made a high just a couple weeks ago of over 19,000. Now, in 2015, we were accumulating during that entire year in the low to mid $200 range, but my best buys at that point were $166. So pretty ridiculous return on investment. We also started trading Ethereum at $1.50 in early 2016, and it went up recently to a high of 1,300. And then Ripple recently went from our buys of a half a penny to over a high of $3. A coin called Stratus, we got in at 3 cents. It recently made a high of $21. Dash, we got in between $5 and $10. Recently made a high of about $1,500. We actually met with the Dash team in Panama and Central America a couple years ago, and we knew this was going to be something that was really huge. So just to give you an example, I mean, I know these growth numbers are really insane, and what happens in cryptocurrency is you have big boom and bust cycles, but you can actually make money on both sides of the market. You can profit going long, but you can also short a lot of these coins as well. So this is a chart from Bitcoin over the entire year of 2017. So in 2017, we actually started the year at a low in the $700 range, and we started trading breakouts on this. So Bitcoin is one of my favorite markets to actually swing trade because of the volatility. So for example, our first swing trades were above like $1,200 in the spring, went parabolic almost to 3,000. Then we had some dip buys in the $2,000 to $3,000 mark and another breakout above 3,000, covered around 5,000, had another breakout at 5,000, went up to 7,000. Then in December, the market went parabolic and reached almost 20,000. And I'll tell you, I took a lot of profit here. A lot of my long-term multi-year holdings I was selling throughout 2017 while at the same time swing trading these breakout and dip buys. So that's why I say, I think it's really smart to have different buckets where you put your trading capital. Because yes, I'm an investor. I've been investing in Bitcoin for 5 years, but I also trade it. So I exponentially increase my gains by being active in addition to just investing, right? So here's Ripple recently. So you may have seen this in the news recently. We actually started buying Ripple 2 years ago at half a penny. And then over the past couple of months, we had a lot of resistance here. We had 6 months of resistance at 30 cents. And we actually bought this breakout here. My fills were around 35 cents. And I started taking profit in between $1, $2, and then as high as $3. So really, really incredible percentage runs. You can see this was nearly $1,000 or 1,000 percentage points in just a few weeks, right? So that was Ripple. Another one is Ethereum. So Ethereum is the number 2 coin by market cap that I recently showed you. And very similar to Ripple, last month we bought the breakout here at $400. And what was funny is whenever I went on CNBC to talk about crypto, I think it was here in the late summer or early fall, and they asked, well, what's your opinion on Ethereum? And I said way back here, I said, look, if we break 400, I'm going to be looking for a breakout. That was several months before that occurred, and we actually got the breakout at 400. And I took a little bit of profit here around 750 because what I like to do is I'm a big fan of Fibonacci tools. So I'll use Fibonacci extensions to find profit targets on breakouts and Fibonacci retracements and confluence areas to find high probability entry zones. So what we did is we had a profit target here at around 750 to 800, and I'm actually still holding over 50% of this trade, but took a little bit more profit in the past couple of days up around 1,300. So again, you can see about a 250% move in just a month or two. And then Stratus, this was a really good example of my pre-hype accumulation strategy. So in October of 2016, we actually talked to the development team, and some people in our group did due diligence on this and found out hey, this is going to be huge one day. So we just bought a position in between 3 and 5 cents, and we waited. And then things really started to get cooking here in between $2 to $3. So we took a lot of profit through here, and then it went parabolic to 1150 about a month later. And then today, the price of Stratus is around 20 bucks. It's really volatile, so it'll go down to 17, spike up to 23. But again, from a percentage gain standpoint, just an incredible, incredible trade. I mean, we had, some people make life-changing amounts of money on this one trade alone. And, it's kind of weird for me going from my history of day trading all day, every day, being so stressed out, feeling like I was fighting elephants to make peanuts, where now all I need to do is take a few trades a month, if that, and I'm making exponentially more money than I could have ever hoped to do when I was day trading. And my motto today literally is trade less, profit more. I think the less you trade and the higher quality trades you take, the more money you're going to make over time. I've just seen so many traders that have had their trading accounts experience death by 1,000 cuts because they're over trading low volatility markets. I think that is the best way to waste time and the best way to lose money, which is why I just love the volatility and the growth that we have in crypto right now. Amen, T. Silvana says, I know that feeling, still doing it. Dawn asks, when you sell a coin and wait to reinvest, where do you put the cash? Coinbase doesn't seem to have a money fund. They actually do. You can hold USD on Coinbase, Dawn, and I believe that's the portion that is FDIC insured. I could be mistaken, but they absolutely do hold USD there, so you don't have to have that wait time between your bank account. It's actually really seamless. So just to, again, to kind of do a little bit of a recap, and then I'll tell you guys about my trading bootcamp for those of you that want to learn from me and take this to the next level, and then we'll dive into some live charts and some Q&A. Cool? So I just want to do a quick comparison of, trading Bitcoin versus the stock market. I just want to hammer this point home. Like, there is no account or trade size minimums with Bitcoin, where if you're going to be a pattern day trader in the stock market, you need 25 grand, or a lot of futures brokers require like 5 or 10 grand. This is something where you can get started with a small amount of capital, and I think that's actually smart. You don't want to just throw your 401k into Bitcoin. Like, this is something you want to approach with really strong risk management. Anybody in the world can open a Bitcoin trading account in a few minutes. Now, again, like I mentioned earlier, the verification process might take longer depending on the amount of people that the exchanges are taking on that week. But the biggest benefit that I see right now with crypto, in addition to its exponential growth, is the fact that there's way less competition in crypto than the stock market, right? Because trading is a competition. And if you're trading, say, E-mini futures, which I did for a long time, you're trading up against algorithms, you're trading up against billion-dollar hedge funds. There's a lot of manipulation and spoofing and front-running that happens there. So that's why I switched to focus solely on cryptos now, and bigger price swings, more volatility equals more opportunity. So just a quick recap of what we've talked about so far. We talked about how to get started trading and investing in cryptos, showed you my 3 strategies for trading and investing, talked about how to short, right, which is just as simple as shorting a futures contract or a put on an options contract, right? And then what we're going to do is in a second, I'm going to jump into some live market analysis, and we'll take a look at where the markets are now. I'll show you some open positions that I have, and then we'll do some Q&A. I see quite a few questions coming in. So before we do that, though, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my crypto trading and investing bootcamp. And again, if this is right for you and it fits your budget and you're excited about it, cool. If not, that's okay too. Like, I don't want to pressure anybody into saying like you have to trade crypto, but I'm just telling you there's a reason why I'm doing this as my sole focus, and I think it is by far the most profitable place to be trading and investing right now. And we have a great community of people that, again, have made life-changing amounts of money over the past few years, and I'm excited to continue with what we've been doing. So what I'm doing, we actually opened up 25 spots a couple days ago for Jeanette's group, for the TradeThirsty community, and I wanted to go ahead, and I know there were a lot of people that couldn't make it on that first class, so for anybody that wasn't able to make it, we're going to open up some more spots today for you, and I'll just tell you what this is about, and then we'll jump into the charts. So basically what we do is we have an 8-week online boot camp to show you how to profitably trade and invest in cryptos. And these are daily self-paced lessons, and the lessons are about 30 minutes to an hour. And here's kind of the breakdown of what we teach. We have 2 phases of the boot camp, and phase 1 is basically where you learn everything you need to know. So week 1 is like, this is where you basically build a foundation for success. We teach you technical analysis that we use, everything from Fibonacci tools to how to analyze price action in cryptocurrencies. We also dive real deep into making sure you get your account set up the right way, that you know how to store your coins, send and receive coins. So we do all that prep work before you even start trading. And then in week 2, this is where we focus on fundamental analysis, right? Like, how do you analyze the true value of a cryptocurrency, right? How do you get in early? How do you find those Stratus type projects that, you know, you get in at 3 cents and today it's at 20, right? Week 3 is all about market psychology. This is really important pertaining to cryptocurrency because it is such a highly speculative market, right? It's different than any market in history because it's a truly global market. Like I mentioned, I mean, we have traders from well over 100 countries around the world. It's really incredible. I was just talking to somebody this morning who is in our community that lives in Siem Reap in Cambodia. Like literally lives like next door to Angkor Wat. It's pretty crazy. And then in week 4, this is where we dive into trading strategies. So showing very specific trade setups, entries, risk management, right? Money management, portfolio management. And then phase 2 is all about helping you develop skills so you can trade the live market, right? Because trading it's a performance activity like chess or poker or golf. And in week 5, we help you prepare for live trading, make sure you're ready to go before you put any of your real capital on the line. And then we do a lot of practice and exercises and testing execution. And then finally, by the end of week 8, we have you to a point where you can review your trades and what we call earn the right to trade big size, right? I think it's very smart to start trading and investing with a small amount of capital, develop your confidence, grow it consistently, and then trade with bigger and bigger size, right? I'll tell you, I mean, 5 years ago, a $5,000 or a $10,000 position size in a coin was a big deal to me. Now, $250,000 to a $500,000 position size in a coin is commonplace. It's, you know, but I think everybody should go through a learning curve and a process where you do that the right way. You know, again, I just pull my hair out whenever I see traders or just speculators that like buy Bitcoin on their credit card or don't really think about risk management. That's really why I focus on teaching this stuff, is to help people learn how to do it the right way. So in addition to those 8 weeks of daily lessons, we also have weekly Q&A classes. So the daily lessons are self-paced and they're pre-recorded so you can watch those on your own time. And then every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern time, we do a live Q&A class, and these are also recorded. So I saw Maurice ask, I prefer live classes. That's what we do on Wednesday afternoons. So as you're going through those lessons, any questions that you have, or if you want to review exercises on Wednesdays, that's when we do that. And then what we're also going to do, you know, because we have such a great community, in addition to the 8-week boot camp where you're going to learn everything, we also want to invite you into our trading community. We have the largest, and in my very biased opinion, the best trader and investor community in cryptocurrencies. We're also going to give you 60 days access to our mentoring program, which includes our trading room. So we have a trading room that's open 24/7. We have traders from all over the world that are constantly engaged with the markets. We also, every day, Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, we do a market check-in where we review our open positions, we talk about any news pieces that came out, analyze the live markets, answer any questions that you guys have that pertain directly to the live market. So that's every day, Monday through Friday, that we're doing that. We also send trade alerts, so we're very transparent with our trades. My goal is to give trade plans ahead of time so you know what we're looking at and what we'll do if a certain crypto breaks a certain area, for example. We also send alerts anytime we buy or sell. We also do recaps of trades after we close a trade. That way you can learn throughout the whole process. We also do monthly market reports where we'll kind of recap what happened for the entire year. So again, anybody that wants to join us today, 60 days access to that community. And what's the investment? So if you were going to to go to our website and buy this today. The regular tuition is $29.97. I'm a really big fan of Jeanette and Hubert and the TradeThirsty community. So what we're going to do is we're going to knock off $1,000 today. And now this is limited to 25 people because Rocky and I are only 2 people. And you'll notice when you get into the class that we actually keep these classes really small because we want to be able to get to everybody's questions. So that's why we do that. But, you know, again, for anybody that wants to get started with us today, we're going to knock $1,000 off. And so here's a recap. And then for those of you that want to get signed up and you want to grab one of those spots, you can go ahead and do that. And then we'll jump into some Q&A and we'll look at some live charts. So the link, just go to TradeThirsty.com/Bitcoin. And again, just a quick recap, you're going to get the 8-week crypto trading and investing bootcamp. So these are daily step-by-step lessons. They're 30 minutes on average. They're self-paced, and you do have lifetime access to this. So if you're not able to keep up with the daily lessons every day, I know life gets in the way, you can always go back and review. You can always go back and, you know, redo exercises and quizzes to make sure that you've developed your skills the right way. And then we also do those weekly live Q&A classes that are Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern time. And these are recorded if you can't make it live. And if you have questions that you want answered or a chart that you want to review, you can just email that to us and we'll cover it in the class. Okay. And then also the 60 days access to the crypto trader and investor community. This is where you get the trade alerts, the trading room, daily live market updates, and the monthly crypto investing reports. So that's that, guys. If you want to go ahead and get started with me, just go to TradeThirsty.com/Bitcoin, and you'll get that discount and the 60 days access to the trader community. And with that said, I just want to jump into some Q&A and some live charts. So if you have some questions, you know, pertaining to either what stuff we covered already or, you know, anything about trading strategy, you know, feel free to type them in there and I'll spend as much time as we have to go through those. So Gerald asked, what are capital buckets? So capital buckets are basically my definition for trading accounts, just different areas that I put my capital. Just like I'm not going to put all my eggs in like a stock index in one basket. I'm going to allocate my capital into different areas. So I have, you know, my store of wealth, my long-term investments, and my short-term trading capital. Susan says the TradeThirsty link doesn't work. I just tested it, Susan. It works for me. If you guys are having issues, let me know, and I'll send you a direct link. Would you recommend moving coins from my Coinbase to GDAX? Yeah, PK, if you're going to be actively trading, GDAX, the fees are way lower. So absolutely, I would trade through GDAX. And you're going to get better fills. You're going to get better pricing. Can you buy Ripple with USD? So here is, all right, can you guys see the chart, the Ripple chart here, USDT, XRP? So, Sohail, what you're going to do to buy Ripple is step 1, you're going to buy Bitcoin at, say, Coinbase or GDAX, something like that. Step 2 is you're going to send your Bitcoin to either Poloniex or Bittrex, you know, basically an altcoin exchange. And then step 3 is you're going to buy Ripple with your Bitcoin, okay? So there's one extra step in there, but this is very simple. Basically, all you do is it's like sending an email. That's how you send cryptocurrency. And in the first week, we show you how to do all of this. It's very, very simple. So what you'll want to do, though, is just buy some Bitcoin first, send it to an altcoin exchange that offers Ripple trading, and then you can buy or sell or short Ripple with your Bitcoin, right? So you'll first, you know, come here, buy some Bitcoin, then jump over to one of these exchanges, and you can see how they offer XRP BTC. So you can buy Ripple with your Bitcoin. You can also set stop limit orders. You can sell your Ripple here. Now, the way that you can actually get around doing a Bitcoin to Ripple transaction is what's called USDT. So USDT is a cryptocurrency that mirrors $1. Okay, so it's set, each crypto is $1. So you're basically buying crypto to crypto, but it is set to the price of $1. So that's just kind of an easier way if you want to do that where you don't want to transfer US dollars around. Which charting software do you use? So that's a great question. There's two charting platforms that I would suggest. The first one is what I'm using, which is Coinigy. And what this does is this actually aggregates all of the exchanges and all of the currency pairs into one place. Okay, puts all exchanges and pairs in one platform. And I think they have a 30-day free trial, and then I want to say it's like $15 to $20 a month after that, so it's super, super affordable. The other one is TradingView. They have some crypto pairs, and I'm not sure the pricing. I want to say their pricing is 20 or 30 bucks a month as well. But those are the two platforms that I would suggest. Carl asks, is there more upside to Dash and Ripple? So it depends on what day we're talking about. You know, if we were talking just a month ago, we were extremely, extremely bullish on Ripple. But you'll notice from our breakout here of 30 cents, you know, it went up about 1,000% over $3. So I'm still long some Ripple. I've taken a lot of profit here, right? I mean, you'd be crazy not to take profit on 1,000% gain, but I'm still holding. I just, you know, and we do have a Fibonacci pullback right now. So if you take a look at that breakout, we've pulled back into what I call the sweet spot Fibonacci pullback area. So in between the 38% and the 61%. So you can see nice early trend, deeper pullback. So we are at support right now. I'm not buying anymore up here just because the market cap is really, really high on a fundamental level. But technically you can see we're at support, which is why I'm still holding. Dash, if we take a look at Dash Coin, so you'll notice Dash has recently gone parabolic. Look, over the past 30 days, a lot of cryptos have taken off. So I think Dash is really expensive. You know, again, I mean, we got into Dash at like in between $5 and $10 back here, and recently went up over 1,500. So I'm still holding Dash. I just think it's really expensive. One coin that I like that I think you guys could take a look at is Civic, CVC. So Civic is a really good one just because I like the product. Now, one thing I would be looking at for a buy on CVC, because this one is actually still relatively cheap. If we take a look at the economics of Civic, you'll see it's rank 98 out of all the cryptocurrencies. So its total market cap is about 350 million. It's traded about 35 million in the past day. And you can see the dollar value of Civic has gone up recently from about 30 cents to a recent high of about $1.30. So what I would be looking at here on Civic is you can see a run up, and we have clear resistance through this level. So if we can get a bull flag or an ascending wedge here, and then if we can get a breakout, I could see a double in Civic over the next few weeks. So my target would be up here initially at the 100% extension, and the trigger would be a buy above this breakout level. That's what I would be looking for. So it's holding up quite nicely. It is up quite a bit over the past month, but that's one that's still relatively cheap and hasn't had an epic rise in its price like some of the others. Now, this is a longer term play. I own some Civic, but I haven't gone real heavy on it. but that could be a good one to check out. Other than the hardware wallet, which other wallets do you recommend? So there are several different types of wallets. So Jaxx is a pretty good one. You can have, they have an iPhone app and I believe an Android app. There's also computer wallets, so software programs you can download on your computer. The safest and most secure place to put them is hardware wallets, you know, like your Ledger. But I also keep a little bit of crypto on my phone, kind of like, you know, equal to the amount of money that I would have in my physical wallet, right? You know, no more than maybe a few $100. Just if I go to a restaurant or go somewhere where I'm going to buy a product or a service with Bitcoin, you can do it right from your phone. Are there fractions of Bitcoins? Yes, absolutely. So Bitcoin, the interesting thing about this is it's actually divisible to the 8th decimal place. All right, so you can buy, it wouldn't really make sense to do this, but you could technically buy a fraction of $1 worth of Bitcoin. They're called Satoshis because Satoshi Nakamoto is the pseudonym for the person or the group that actually created Bitcoin in 2009. But yeah, I mean, you can buy a fraction of a Bitcoin. So, you know, even though Bitcoin's worth $13,000 or $14,000 today, you can buy $5 or $10 worth it if you want. What are the typical costs for transactions? So it varies, and it depends on the cryptocurrency. Some cryptocurrencies are next to free, where they're only a few pennies. When Bitcoin gets congested, when there's a lot of transactions, it can be several dollars to send crypto. So it varies, and that's why, you know, you have what's called Bitcoin Cash. So Bitcoin Cash is what we call a fork of Bitcoin. It's split off from Bitcoin, and Bitcoin Cash's value proposition, and the reason why it's worth $2,500, is their lower fees to send transactions and faster confirmation times. So the answer is it varies and it depends on the transactions that day. Richard says, very interested, really appreciate your TA on Bitcoin, some of the altcoins after this big run up. Yep, thanks, Richard. Can I trade from Israel? Ido, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Absolutely. I actually know several people that live in Israel that trade crypto. There's a massive crypto scene in Israel, specifically, yeah, just all over Europe and Middle East and through Asia. I mean, it's a global market. Do you fund your Bittrex, Poloniex, Binance account with USD or transferring BTC or Ethereum? Usually, that's a great question, William. Usually what I do is I'll transfer Bitcoin or Ethereum or Dash or whatever. I'll transfer cryptocurrency into these altcoin exchanges, and I'll use Coinbase or GDAX or, you know, one of the major exchanges for USD transactions. Do you have to be a resident in the USA to use GDAX? As far as I know, the list of countries is growing every day for Coinbase. So if we just look Coinbase countries, we'll just Google that real quick. So that, yeah, this list is constantly changing. Yeah, here you go. This was updated in November, a couple months ago. And then if you want to get notification, so, oh, here you go. Here's a complete list. So US, Canada, UK, right, Australia, Singapore. So yeah, you can trade all over the world with this stuff. How do you short crypto if you don't own it? Good question. So it depends on the coin that you want to short. Usually what you're going to want to do is use USDT on, like, say you want to short Bitcoin on an altcoin exchange. You can do that with USDT as your margin. Or here's something that's really interesting, guys, is the CME launched Bitcoin futures last month. So you can actually short Bitcoin through futures contracts, which is really cool. This is actually a really reliable way to do it, in my opinion. Now, the liquidity isn't quite where I want it yet. This is still like a developing market, but this is also a great option for those of you that are used to trading futures or options. What do you think of Bitcoin Cash? So Bitcoin Cash, technically, as far as the technical chart, is pretty bullish. I still hold quite a bit of Bitcoin Cash. Acquired it down in the low like $200 to $300 range, and you can see today it's up around 2,500 bucks. So on the chart you can see, I mean, really nice breakout, run retracement, squeeze into resistance, breakout, turn prior resistance into support. So if you guys, you know, if for those of you that have experience with technical analysis, like, you'll notice these crypto charts are quite beautiful. Like, they're not choppy. They're not, you know, like if you look at like the E-mini S&P intraday, say on a tick chart, there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of chop. Where with Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, I mean, you get really beautiful technical analysis. For example, one of my biggest trades of last year was the breakout of 3,000, and we took that up to 5,000. If you just use really simple Fibonacci tools to find profit targets, you'll notice how accurate and how precise this stuff is. And it's because it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? So like on this dip buy, you can see we came right down to the 50% fib retracement, had a pop-up. We were actually buying in here around 2,000 and then adding at 24 and 2,500 and then adding again at 3,000 on the breakout. And you can see in just a few weeks, you know, we had a really nice run of about 60%. And that happened 7 or 8 times last year, where we had a breakout that ran in between 50 to 75%. Really, I've never seen anything like it in the past 15 years. That's why I'm just a huge fan of trading crypto. To fund the altcoin exchange, instead of transferring BTC, would it be cheaper with Ethereum? Yeah, William, it depends on what your cost basis is for those coins. So you can do either or you could do both. PK, where's the resistance and support on Bitcoin right now? Yeah, so right now we're actually testing major support. So you can see through here we have multi-week support around 13K, and we have a descending trend line as well as an ascending trend line. So we've been consolidating after the market went parabolic. You can see right here in early December, you know, we had a healthy trend, and then we had 2 days where we went from 12,000 to 19,000 in 2 days, right? So typically when the market goes parabolic like that, that is a sign of a top. And you can see it consolidated, retested the all-time high, pulled back. So that's where we are right now. We're kind of at a decision zone where we're about to break lower and retest prior support at 8,000. Or if this can hold up and we get a breakout of 17,000, that could be another good breakout trade. So we've got good potential on both sides of this market. The biggest thing that I just like to pay attention to is look at this volatility, right? In the span of a month or so, we went up 250% on Bitcoin. And then in the span of basically 1 week, we did a almost 50% pullback. So the volatility is absolutely incredible. And I know a lot of you guys and ladies are traders, so that's a dream. I mean, that's where you want to trade. You don't want to trade like slow, choppy markets. All right, guys, I know we've been going for a long time. I'm going to stick with you for a minute and try to answer as many questions as possible. I saw a couple of questions about the link, so I'm going to give that to you again. And then I'll just keep hammering out some questions here. So again, it's TradeThirsty.com/Bitcoin. And just a quick recap, again, it's 8-week crypto trading bootcamp where they're daily lessons. You have lifetime access to them. We do weekly Q&A classes. And then you have 60 days access to our mentoring program where we do trade alerts. We have our trading room, daily live market updates where we basically review our positions and any trade setups that we're looking at every single day. And also cover any new projects we're looking at, because there's so much noise, there's so much information coming into the crypto market right now. Our goal is to help you sift through that and save a ton of time, because you could probably do this on your own and, you know, navigate this, but by going through the boot camp, you're going to learn the right way to do it. You're going to learn the right way to get set up, the right way to trade, learn from our mistakes that we've made over the past 5 years, and then also, you know, get in a community where we have some very, very successful traders from around the world. I'm just really, really proud of what we've been able to build over the past few years. So if that fits and you think this is a good fit for you, we'd love to have you. If not, that's cool too. I actually gave Jeanette a copy of my book that I believe she's gonna email out to everybody. So yeah, good stuff. All right, so I'll just knock out some more questions and then we'll wrap it up here shortly. How safe is it to send crypto such as Bitcoin through email? Greg, good question. So the way that you actually send and receive Bitcoin is with what's called a public address, and it's about a 30-something character random number, alphanumeric characters. So you don't really send it through email. What you'll need is you'll just have somebody give you their public address, and that's how you send it. It's very, very simple, and we show you how to do that the right way. What allocation percent do you use between the 3 kinds of trading? So, you know, cold storage, position trading, and short-term trading. Also, how do you monitor these 3 kinds of wallets of these 3 pools? That's a great question. So it's all about having a plan for each one, right? So the cold storage is simple. It's the same thing as keeping gold in a vault. The position trades, that's also very low maintenance. We accumulate Bitcoin when it's cheap, like in 2015, and we sell it when it's expensive, like we saw happen last year. And then one question that I typically get a lot is, hey, Chris, Bitcoin is expensive right now relative to where it's been. What's the best play? And again, this is just my personal opinion, but I think the best play when Bitcoin is expensive is to actively trade it and grow not only your Bitcoin holdings, but also grow your fiat currency, you know, US dollar holdings or whatever your currency is. So grow your trading capital by actively trading it when it's high, and when Bitcoin crashes, which it's done over half a dozen times since its inception, buy more at lower prices for long-term holdings, right? It sounds so simple, but 99% of people do it wrong. But that's my strategy. So William asks, is Ripple being pre-mined and manipulated? Yeah, so Ripple's it's centralized, and it's a little bit different than most cryptocurrencies. So fundamentally, I have a little bit of an issue with it, but I'll still trade it, right? I'll still trade it. I'll still buy low, and I'll exit on public hype, which is what we recently did. Glenn asked, what's the difference between the Skill Incubator subscription? So this is the best value package that we offer, which is the Bootcamp and the monthly subscription. And then what we do is Bootcamp graduates actually get 50% off of the community going forward. So I saw a couple people ask what the cost is if you want to stay in our community past 60 days. It's like $97 a month. So we make it really affordable. You mentioned the fluidity of cryptocurrency. How long does it take round trip to go from, say, your hardware wallet to an exchange to your hardware wallet? So it typically takes, if you're going to send money from your hardware wallet to an exchange, it's going to take at least 10 minutes. So in between 10 to 60 minutes. So what I like to do is I'll keep enough capital on an exchange for one position, right? So I won't keep all of my coins, but that way if there's a trade that happens quickly, I have some capital that's already there to be able to pull the trigger on real fast. How do you minimize loss from volatile exchange rates between the cryptos? So that's all about, Adrian, that's a great question. So basically the question is, you know, how do you minimize risk with all this volatility, right? That's why it's all about timing, right? You don't want to just do the shotgun approach and throw a whole lot of money at a bunch of random cryptos. You want to be disciplined with it, and you want to take trade setups. You want to enter when the timing is right, when you have a higher probability scenario, and when risk to reward is in your favor, right? If you do that, you're going to be much more successful than just doing the shotgun approach. So I see a couple questions from people that are in different countries. If you're trying to find the best exchange for your specific country, here's what you do. Okay, so for anybody that's not in the US or the UK or something like that, this is what you want to do. You want to go to coinmarketcap.com, and then if you click on a cryptocurrency that you're interested in, so let's just say Bitcoin, what you're also going to do is click on the Markets tab, and this is going to show you all of the markets in order of most trading volume, and you'll see the exchanges. So do this. If you're in, like a non-major financial country, just go down the list here and look at all these exchanges and see which one you can sign up and actually have an account there. Another option is just to Google your country name and then Bitcoin exchanges, and you'll see that way as well. But what I like to do is I want to trade on the most liquid exchanges where there's the most trading volume, and that's how you see it. So again, go to coinmarketcap.com, click on whatever currency, click on the Markets tab, and there you go. Do you teach the use of Fibonacci techniques? Absolutely, T. That's actually my two favorite tools are Fibonacci retracements and Fibonacci extensions. I've been using these for close to 15 years now, and I have a very specific way that I use them, and they're super accurate in cryptocurrencies. So, Fib retracements are great for finding pullbacks to confluence areas, and Fib extensions are really great for finding profit targets on, breakouts and trade setups like that. Tom says, what about trading GBTC with your regular broker? You can do that. So GBTC, I believe, is traded on OTC. And yeah, it's on the OTC markets. It trades at a big premium above Bitcoin. So it's trading today so the Bitcoin Investment Trust, this is 1/10 of a Bitcoin. So you're basically paying almost $19,000 for a Bitcoin on GBTC, where on one of the real exchanges, on the spot market, you can pay like 13 or 14,000. So I would highly suggest doing that. Thanks, Mike. I'm not sure if Jeanette sends out recordings. Unfortunately, she wasn't able to get on today, but I'm happy to be here. Thank you guys for having me. Hi, Chris. Sebastian says, very new to Bitcoin. Still trying to get my head around and understand this concept. Your webinar has been good, but where can I read more on all the technicalities of, like, I guess you're talking about technical analysis. So that's actually what we cover in the bootcamp. We go through the very basics of what technical analysis we use, all the way through how we bring it all together and find trade setups. Joel asks, how much is the community after 60 days? So I think I mentioned this a couple minutes ago, but we give a 50% discount. So it's like $97 a month if you want to stay in our community, which 95% of people that join our community actually don't leave. It's crazy how fast it's been growing, and people just stick around because they've been getting so much value from it. All right, so I'm going to pull this up and answer a couple more questions. I know we've kind of run over our time today, so I'm going to answer as many questions as I can, and then I'll sign off here. But again, here's the link again, TradeThirsty.com/Bitcoin. If you want to start trading and learn how to participate in this cryptocurrency revolution. It's the craziest thing that I've ever experienced in my history of trading markets, and definitely the most profitable, and I think we've got several years left of just really fun action. So if you're interested in this, if you think it's a fit for you, great. We'd love to have you on board, and look forward to seeing you guys in the trading room. Nuala, if cryptos go belly up, will you still be sending daily market updates? So obviously anything can happen, but I don't see cryptos going anywhere. If anything, the user adoption around the world is growing at an exponential rate. Now, here's one thing I will say. I don't know if in 5 or 10 years, or hell, even in 5 or 10 days, if Bitcoin is going to be the #1 cryptocurrency. I think we're kind of in, like, cryptos today are where the internet was in the early to mid 90s, right? For anybody that remembers the AOL CDs, where you could like, get 50 free hours of the internet, and it was really disjointed and slow. That's kind of where we are in crypto today. We're still in the infancy stage of this. So there's going to be a lot of big winners, a lot of big losers over the next few years, but that's great. As traders, that's where we make money. Considering minimum fees, what do you suggest as a minimum amount for buying or converting cryptos? So the nice thing about the fees with cryptos, William, is it's not a flat fee. It's not like, you're not going to pay like $9.99 per trade or something like that. It's a percentage basis. And most exchanges, it depends on your volume, but you're going to be paying somewhere around 0.1%. So it actually does make it affordable to trade smaller size. Yeah, Oleg, I'm at Chris Dunn TV everywhere on social media. My YouTube channel is kind of my biggest presence. I have I think 175,000 subscribers or something like that on YouTube. It's just at Chris Dunn TV. What's your view on the impact of a potential ban in South Korea? So here's the thing. Governments around the world are reacting differently to cryptos. China has threatened to ban it several times. Now Korea's doing it. It doesn't, in my opinion, it doesn't matter what any one country does. Ban it, embrace it, regulate it. Like, crypto is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. It's a peer-to-peer decentralized currency. Thankfully in the U.S., I feel like our government and our regulators have taken a very pragmatic stance. Obviously, they want to stomp out any scams or like pump and dumps or anything like that, which I think is necessary. But I don't foresee, any smart countries trying to ban it. They're gonna use puffery, and in some Asian countries, they're gonna try to regulate the exchanges. But that's just a part of this. We are literally redefining what money means as a human species. Like, this is such a big, paradigm shift. And so governments are going to overreact. They're going to underreact. You have places like Switzerland that are taking like a approach. You have places like the UK and the US that are, trying to regulate and tax it, which I think is the smart and the right option. So, all right, guys, I'm going to answer just a couple more questions, and then we will wrap it up. Thank you again for your time. I hope you got some value out of today. I know this is a fast-moving space. I know sometimes I talk pretty quickly, so if I missed anything, or if you want to review anything, we can do that in the upcoming classes. Thanks, Nuala. Yeah, I saw a couple questions about the YouTube channel. It's at Chris Dunn TV. So I'll post this in the chat. Yeah, you can learn the basics of trading altcoins and just get started slow. Nothing wrong with that. If you have an account at GDAX, can you transfer coins or Bitcoins to Kraken, for example, to trade with? Absolutely, yeah. So if you buy crypto at GDAX or Coinbase, you can send those coins anywhere to any exchange that you want. Are margin requirements in trading hours similar to futures, Brian asks? No, actually they are, the crypto markets are a 24/7 market, kind of like forex. That's another reason why I like longer term trading, just because, you know, we're humans and we sleep and we travel and we work and we, you know, so I like to go for the big moves that take several days or weeks to develop. But yeah, there's 24/7 markets. All right, one more question, then we'll wrap it up. Can you share high level how you distribute your crypto portfolio? Yep. So I kind of talked a little bit about my 3 buckets. Okay, great. Thanks, guys. So number 1 is cold storage, basically a, you know, never touch. And it depends on the market timing. So whenever I started, I usually, you know, look to allocate like 10 to 20% here. And then my position trades, I'll give you an example, like in 2015, I would say that was equal to about 75% of my portfolio. At the end of 2017, that was less than 20% of my portfolio, just because I took a lot of profit through that. Today, so like my trading capital, so for swing trades and stuff like that, I'm close to 80% here. So I'm still about 20% long-term and have an actual large majority of my capital ready for short-term trading. You know, swing trading, breakout trades, you know, like I showed you on Ethereum and Ripple, stuff like that, just because prices are higher. So when prices are higher, I like to allocate more of my capital to active trading as opposed to like buy and hold investing, right? So, all right, guys, thank you so much for coming today. I'm sorry Jeanette couldn't make it, but hopefully, you know, you guys enjoyed it. I certainly enjoyed teaching you guys a little bit about this stuff. Again, if you want to get started and trade with me, just go to TradeThirsty.com/Bitcoin, and you'll be able to do the bootcamp and get access to our trading community. We'd love to see you there, and if I can be of help, feel free to reach out. And you guys have a great one. Have a great weekend. Have a great 2018. Hope you're kicking off the year right. And I look forward to talking to you guys soon. Thank you so much, guys.